Mga higala, kumusta? Welcome to another episode of the Chyrel Macale Cariaga show. And of course, we are live at UHA Digital Terrestrial Television Channel 51. And we're also live at Parasat Cable TV Channel 27, 28, and 29. And we're also live at DEARBC Cable TV Analog Channel 19, Digital Channel 2. And of course, you can also listen us at JAO FM 107.1. You can also see us live at our Facebook page, live at JAO TV 51_official. At the same time, YouTube channel _51_official. JAO TV is the first teleradio in northern Mindanao. The Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, released the latest suggested retail prices, or SRPs, for basic necessities and prime commodities, and or BNPC, effective 27 of January 2022. According to the Consumer Protection Group of DTI, the changes are a result of the increasing prices increase of raw and packaging materials, production and other logistical costs. From this, 73 shelf-keeping units, or SKUs, 40 for food and 33 for non-food out of 216 SKUs in the SRP list have price adjustments. DTI Mimaropa reminds the public that with the ongoing price freeze, or PF, in the region, as stated in the Prudential Proclamation of December 21 of 2021, declaring a state of calamity, or SOC, in the Mimaropa due to the widespread devastation and damage by Typhoon Odette, and prices of the basic necessities remain under PF, or price freeze. Prices of basic commodities or necessities will only follow the latest SRP after February 19 of 2022, or unless sooner lifted by the President. Products under basic necessities include canned fish, processed milk, coffee, laundry soap, bread, salt, and etc. Among the products under the prime commodities are flour, processed, and of course canned pork, beef, and poultry meat, vinegar, soy sauce, and of course school supplies. DTI Mimaropa conducts intensified price and supply monitoring of BNPC under the department's jurisdiction to ensure establishments comply with the said SRPs and said price freeze. Moreover, individuals are encouraged to go to the nearest DTI. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any complaint, on the studio today to explain all of these details and of course protecting the consumers on our end. Ladies and gentlemen, in our studio today, please welcome the Chief of the Consumer Protection Division of DTI, Misamis Oriental Provincial Office. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Engineer Angelo A. Devero. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning.
Good morning. So, sir, we're actually on a very exciting and probably a very interesting discussion, because people are really relying on your explanation, and people are waiting for this for the longest time. Now, we are heard, and of course, a lot of our televiewers right now are in the 24 municipalities of Misamis Oriental. We have 2 component cities, and of course we have 80 barangays in Cariaga, our city, and we reach all over the region. Probably around 500,000 households, and we could reach that. So, sir, can you explain why, because let's explain the inflation now that affects the economy, and how is DTI playing the role in controlling the price rocketing?
Let me first give you an update on the issuance of suggested retail prices for basic necessities and prime commodities. You've mentioned that the latest for you is January 2022. But DTI has issued SRP, list of SRPs on the May 11, 2022.
On the current?
The current is August 12, 2022.
Okay, so...
And on the list of SRPs, we had 218 stock keeping units or items in the list of SRPs. So that's the latest, August 12, 2022. That's the latest issuance of SRP for BNPC, as you've mentioned.
Okay, so sir, how do we come up with the suggested retail price? I mean, among all those controls, and then I know that there are some of on your end has to come by an agreement with, of course, with the owner and the production, and of course the plants, and whoever owns the products that has to be distributed on the consumer side. on our economic situation right now, such as the inflation that's been affected our economy devastatingly for for a couple of years now, since the pandemic until at this time. Now the prices of the gasoline or the petroleum price has gone in out of control. And it's been changing from time to time, every 2 weeks, 1 week. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. What are we going to do about this inflation, sir? And how do we try to have a band-aid? Because we have to have, like a solution for it. Because we cannot control it immediately. So what are we trying to do, and what is DTI role on this?
The Department of Trade and Industry is bounded on a particular law, that is the Price Act, Republic Act 7581, as amended by RA 10623. No? Again, that is with regard to the basic necessities and prime commodities in terms of price and supply. Now, we have to define first what is basic necessity.
Right.
So, basic necessities are consumer goods that are critical, to our existence.
Yes.
While prime commodities, these are not basic necessities, but they're essential.
Yes, to
for
the
our
household.
existence.
Okay.
Yes. Now, in the Price Act, there are 5 implementing agencies, not only DTI.
Right.
We also have the Department of Agriculture, which is mandated to monitor basically all agricultural products.
Right.
And then we have also the Department of Health, tasked to monitor with regard to price and supply all essential and non-essential drugs.
Okay.
And then we also have the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. It's tasked to monitor the price and supply, say, of nipa, plywood, charcoal, and like that. And lastly, we have the Department of Energy, which is mandated to monitor the kerosene and then the 11 kilogram LPG in cylinder.
Okay.
Now, with regard to control of these prices on basic necessities and prime commodities, in normal times, we could not enforce price control.
Okay.
Thus, we cannot issue price freeze or price ceiling.
Okay.
Now, if there is a declaration of state of calamity, state of emergency, and the like,
or SOC,
like we had experienced during the pandemic, state of emergency. So DDTI can impose price freeze or price ceiling only on basic necessities.
Okay.
And that would stand for 60 days.
Okay.
After which, it must be lifted.
Okay.
Now, going
that's
back,
under the law.
Yes, that's under the law.
After 60
That's
days.
one of the protection the law provided to ensure the availability of the basic necessities and prime commodities and the stability of prices.
Right.
Now, there is one thing here. Without denying the legitimate businessman a fair return on investments.
Right.
So, the name itself suggested, it's only suggesting, suggesting price. But again, during normal times, we don't have any price control.
Right.
Once there's state of calamity or emergencies, then we can impose. And again, it's not only DTI involved in this particular law. We have also the 4 other implementing agencies I mentioned earlier.
Right. So this has been, how do you call this? It's like a devastating news most of the time. And people are really relying on the prime commodities because it's a day-to-day survival.
Yes.
And we need these commodities to even survive, especially on a household.
Yes.
Now, thinking of which, there are so many issues right now governing on the school supplies because, like it's back to school and there are some parents that are really trying a hard time, buying this necessities in school. So on that effect, sir, how are we in charge in protecting our consumers, especially on the necessities abound by DTI, especially now that we need to also help them out in the struggles of life? Because that's where the government comes in when, our economy is actually on the verge of collapsing. But we are trying to really stay afloat. But on that sense, sir, how is the monitoring now of the school supplies?
So for the Department of Trade and Industry, with regard to basic necessities and prime commodities, now school supplies are part of the prime commodities. So the Department of Trade and Industry is monitoring those BNPC Cagayan de Oro as a key city in northern Mindanao in
Right.
2010. We're monitoring on a weekly basis. Now, for other municipalities in the provinces, we're doing the price and supply monitoring on those BNPC on a monthly basis. Now,
Okay.
with regard to the particular prime commodity, which is the school supplies, we're glad to inform the consuming public that the retailers here in Cagayan de Oro, as well as in the province of Misamis Oriental, they're selling the school supplies within the issued suggested retail prices.
Okay, that's
because
good.
there is a SRP for selected school items issued on August 12, 2022. The same time, the list of SRPs for BNPC has been released.
Okay, so we're trying to assure our televiewers and of course our consumers right now that rest assured that they're actually on the level
Yes.
of where the
Yes.
SRPs are being imposed and they're actually following them. So if a establishment does not adhere to this to these SRPs, what are the penalties and what are we giving them as a sanction?
As part of due process, no?
Yes.
Of course, the government must always
Give them a warning.
implement this due process. No. We issued a letter of inquiry at first.
Okay,
no? LOI
okay,
to those establishments selling this BNPC, even school supplies, above the suggested retail prices. We issue letter of inquiry, and then
Okay.
we allow them to explain, to justify. Once the justifications, the reason provided by the establishment justified, or we appreciate its reason, then that would be okay. Because remember that SRP supposedly these are applicable to all areas, no, from the north to the south, because SRP included, no, in their calculations the freight cost, even the markup. Now, to give you the background of SRP, these are goodwill gestures of manufacturers. Actually, also these are somehow a control measures of the manufacturers. So they have price control in the market by issuing this SRP, no, to the goods, and also they have this competitive advantage by issuing SRP. Because if a certain manufacturer would not be issuing SRP for the manufactured goods, maybe the retailers have their leeway, no? They can put a price
Markup
at their
end.
will, at their, yes.
So I think that's one of the best things, and I think some of those that violates, it clearly states that they're actually on for a scam.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot do that. You cannot scam our valued customers because we understand the difficulty of manufacturing these products, but then we also have to adhere the law, and
Yes,
we have to
yes.
follow the law.
In relative to the Price Act, now we have this Illegal Sales Act, namely profiteering, cartel, and then the hoarding. Now,
Right.
there will
The
be-
hoarding is a very
Yeah.
bad word because there's that's
Yeah,
what's
later,
happening
yeah.
now.
Now, let's talk first the profiteering.
Yes.
In reference to the said law, no, there is a prima facie evidence of profiteering. Number one, if there is no price tag, because in the price
Okay.
tag law, all consumer goods
Should have a price tag.
Must have a price tag.
Okay.
Second, there is a prima facie evidence of profiteering when there is what we call dilution, no? Dilution, no? Mixed,
Right.
And then, thirdly, there is a prima facie evidence of profiteering when the price is in excess of its true value. Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
I understand
Now,
that. Okay.
On the other hand, the hoarding, there is a prima facie evidence of hoarding if there is a 50% more than the normal inventory.
Okay,
So,
so
that is
how-
why we need to get the
How do you
inventory
monitor that, sir? Just in case if there is a prima facie of the evidence of hoarding, what are we trying? I mean, what is the penalty for that? Like if you found out, like there's a certain plant or something like that, or a certain distributor that actually hoards these products, and then obviously holding it back,
Yeah.
and then so that's why the prices are skyrocketing.
That is
So
the law of supply and demand.
yeah, so what are we going to do about that?
Again, in reference to the Price Act, there's a provision there, no? A penalty clause.
What's the penalty?
Administrative fine of not less than 1,000 pesos.
What?
But not more than 1 million pesos.
Okay,
From 1,000 to
that's very
197.
easy to pay. I mean, like if the
minimum,
penalty.
but again, there's a maximum of 1 million. So
Okay.
the judge or the education officer may impose to 1 million.
But you have lawyers, right? And
Yes,
then
yes.
they can actually impose all of this, especially on the part of
Yes.
the end of DTI. They can actually sanction and give them.
Yes.
Oh, by the law. Okay, that's good. That's good. At least we have the insurance now. So, moving forward, engineer, I know that there are so many certain issues right now when it comes to the Coca-Cola products. I mean, let's face it, it's really a big deal, and everybody's clamoring like, most of the malls right now or the grocery stores does not have any Coca-Cola products, and I wonder why. And some of the products they have. Let's put to say like Pepsi and RC Cola are still available in the market, but just Coca-Cola products. Is it because they're in demand? That's why that's what's happening. And then the suggested retail price. I've had I saw the suggested retail price, but the thing is, it's because it's just so like we need to look for some suppliers to get onto the product. That's why some of those that the retailers actually sell it to a higher price. Instead of 68 pesos on the suggested retail price, skyrocketing to 90 pesos to 100. That's ridiculous. So much complaining about it. And in fact, I heard that during the forum with the Price Control Act, it's supposedly, on the DTI's end, supposedly to control this price, but then it's, everybody was accusing you if you're not doing your job. So can you explain furthermore, what are we going to do about this? And are you having dialogues with Coca-Cola company, negotiating that this is not right anymore and they are penalized? They will be penalized for this. I mean, I understand the sugar is about 100 pesos per kilo now. We understood that because I'm a baker, I'm a professional chef, and I purchase these things. But the thing is, I cannot even comprehend why people are taking this as an advantage, and people are being affected by the economy because of this.
We know that, no, because in other media outlets, no, the DTI has been bombarded, no.
Yes. And they're being accused.
Yeah, some media personals even accuse us of washing our hands.
Yes, like you're not doing anything about it.
But firstly, the Department of Trade and Industry is bounded by the law. No, we operate in accordance to the law of Visidunas. No,
okay.
Now that's the Price Act.
Okay.
No? The Republic Act in the
that's already pertaining to that law, which is in effect now.
So the Department of Trade and Industry, the Coca-Cola, in particular, Coca-Cola brand, soft drink or soda, they call that one, is not part of the monitoring work of the Department of Trade and Industry with regard to its price and supply, because it's not a basic necessity.
Okay. Okay, there you go. That explains. Okay.
It's not a basic. People can survive without soda, without
soft drink. And you can actually drink water.
And then one of the rights of the consumer, we have 8 basic consumer rights. We have the right to choose. We are not compelled by the manufacturer, by the store to buy these Coca-Cola products, soda, for healthier reason. You may choose, you may take the calamansi juice, maybe the pineapple juice, or other healthy drinks.
You see, sir, you don't understand, why I'm actually having a fit on this, because I'm actually diabetic, and the only soda I can take is Coke Zero. I mean, no other, I cannot drink juice, no other beverages, because it would affect my sugar intake, and so these are the things that we worry about, but you are right. I mean, you have to choose the healthy option rather than this, because it's also good for you. I mean, if you refrain from not drinking it, your life would be healthier, and I agree. That's good.
We're not compelled to drink all those.
Because that's not a basic necessity. I understand that. So, I mean, you guys have to understand, the effect on this, that you're accusing the government for not doing their job. But the thing is, they are only, they can do as much bounded by the law that they have to follow, again, on the Price Act. We understand that. So now you don't have to be so negative about this. And sometimes, you try to explain yourself about why, and accusing the government of this, but you don't know what they're doing. That's why we're here to actually explain to you that DTI, are bound by the law. So they can only extend whatever is provided by the law, and they have to execute the law, and we should respect that, right? So on the inflation within the basic necessities, I know that the DOE, has been trying to wrestle in it's not an excuse, but the reasoning, because of the world market has been affecting the whole world, but not only in the country, but the whole world that's been devastated by this, and within the ongoing war between Russia and we cannot even control that. It's beyond our reach and understanding. So the Ukraine government and even the Russian government, if they will not come to an agreement, the inflation is going to affect the whole world. In fact, I've spoken to somebody from Italy, and she said that the value of the money over here, we getting into, especially on the dollar level, because we buy everything by the dollar, and they said, like, sometimes the inflation here in Italy is so outrageous that before, when we try to buy a gallon of oil, it only cost us about they were saying about 80 euros or something like that, but now for the gallon it reaches about 300 euros. So this is too much, and that's why they're trying to think about going home in the Philippines, but still it's the same thing. Still in the inflation. What are you talking about? There's really no break to this, because we were trying to explain, and the government is trying to do its best to really control it, but the thing is they can't. So that's one of the devastations now. But at least with the prime commodities that we're looking at least we are helping control the economic situation of the country.
Yes.
So, sir, in your take, I mean, not a lot of personals in DTI are able to really go out to all of the region, because you have limited staff, I think.
Yes, definitely.
So,
we have limited resources.
I mean, so how do you do that? How do you coordinate? Do you go to municipalities, or do you go to, because sometimes do you have somewhat like a dialogue with the suppliers, and then all of these plans for them to give them, I think you have to sit down and agree on some SRPs, and where, because they would reason out also that it's because with the costing, having to transport these products all the way from Manila to coming here, and the logistics they have to explain and all that, and they have personnel and people that they have to be paid for, especially on their income, and their employees have to be paid. I mean, how do we go to the terms with that, sir? Like, just
firstly, I think with regard to the inflation, according to the PSA, our inflation rate is around 6.3 now. And then to contain that inflation, I think the government should not disrupt the supply of these basic necessities and prime commodities. That's for one. No? And
we cannot do that, because if the supply stops, I mean, we're in trouble.
The supply of this BNPC should not be disrupted. It's an unimpeded supply must be happening. No? And then for us in the government, the implementing agencies, so we just need to continue intensive monitoring of these basic necessities and prime commodities, to ensure that supply are adequate, met, and then the prices are stable. Now, with regard to the SRP issued by the manufacturers, the DTI has been reviewing those SRP, because prior to the release in the public, this should be given first to the DTI for review and then for approval prior to its release. Now,
that's good.
Now, the list, the thing for DTI is to, collaborate with the manufacturers, and then somehow we have to accept their justification, because there's, as we know, the surging, the uncontrolled prices of oil. This drives all. This has a domino effect to the product, right?
I mean, just thinking about how to transport these goods from farm to market. It's really affecting all of those suppliers already. It's because the gasoline or the petroleum is skyrocketing right now, and they have to also consider that as one of their expenses, overhead expenses, within transporting these goods to the market. So we also have that considered. But how are you coordinating with, especially on the necessity of the rice, and that's one of the things that one of the prime commodity that our consumers needed, because we're Filipinos, we eat rice every day. And then it's morning, noon, and lunch. I mean, it's not just about just eating one meal, but we're talking about 3 times a day. So if we don't consider it, but how do you coordinate these things with?
This is where the local price coordinating council comes in. No?
Okay.
In the Price Act, all LGUs are enjoined to reconstitute, reactivate the local price coordinating council, in reference also to the memorandum by the Department of Interior and Local Government. Now, what are the functions of LPCC, Local Price Coordinating Council? They are tasked to, of course, number one, to monitor the supply and prices and supply of basic necessities. If there are unwarranted price increases, they are tasked to review, to assess the causes, and then from that they have to take actions. The LPCC can institute price ceiling for a particular commodity, either basic necessity or prime.
Is that happening right now? Are we trying to control that? Do we have the stable price among these commodities right now?
Again, they can.
They can and they can't.
They can.
Okay.
The LPC can really impose, can suggest a certain suggested retail price for a particular basic necessity or prime commodity. They can.
Okay, so that's good, because I have a friend in the city government, which is in the person of Attorney Edgardo Seuy, which is actually in charge of the RCBs and all of these other teams. I know that whenever I complain, they take actions immediately. Because this is very alarming sometimes, that when you go to a retail store and then you're just so surprised that the prices of these commodities are just so ridiculous. So one time, I called him and I told him, like, oh, you gotta go to the store and check this out, because supposedly the price of a Coca-Cola was supposedly just 68 or 70 pesos. But then all of a sudden I was asked to pay 98 pesos for one bottle. I mean, it's like, is this crazy? And then I told them, do you know where I work? I work at the media, so you know what? Expect a visit from the DTI or the RCB, because I will call their attention, because you guys are making these prices ridiculously.
But ma'am, there's one relief also for the LPCC or for DTI for this matter. We're also holding Descuento Caravan.
And where's this Descuento Caravan?
Recently, we held it in Cariaga City at the mini park. On August 24 to 27, I think. That's a 4-day Descuento Caravan. We offered discounted prices, at least 10% from the prevailing prices in the market. Discounted.
So that
basic
was
necessities and prime commodities.
That was good.
Yes.
I mean, I should have visited there, but I was not informed. But anyway. But all of these things that are happening is really affecting all of the markets at the same time. Not only that the consumer is being affected by this, but the primary call of DTI is to protect the consumers, because we have the Consumers Act, and that at all times that you are able to really protect our consumers for that act. And so I know that you guys are really trying your very best. In fact, PD Almer is not a stranger here in the studio. Like, she always comes here to explain things, because sometimes when you don't ask, you clamor and you just complain. You don't even know the reality and the truth of it all. Is to investigate and to really ask, what is the government doing about it? Because they are not just sitting on their chair on a table 24 hours a day or 9 to 5, not doing anything. They are being paid by the government to do their job, and they have to function as well. So at this point in time, we know that you have a lot of questions, and that you wanted to, you wanted to complain. But there's a certain part of you as a consumer can actually go and seek for answers, right? So DTI has ready people actually to entertain your questions, and you actually visit their offices for them to explain it to you. You don't have to throw a fit every time. The process of this has already gone too far. And the thing is, you just call them, and I think you should also help the government, and to also perform their job. So if you think this is overpricing, then you can call the RCVs, and then you could call the government, or you can visit the DTI and file a complaint, right? So how do you do that? Like if I'm a consumer and I wanted to file a complaint against this manufacturer or this product, because there are certain times also that they're also displaying, even if it's expired products, and that's not good. I mean, you are supposed to monitor these things, and that's the reason why there is people monitoring the products. If the product is already expired, then it should not be in the shelf. But how do you explain that?
Again, we go back to the law, number one, the Price Act, and we also have this Consumer Act. The Consumer Act, there is the provision there on deceptive, unconscionable, and unfair sales act and practices. Now, it's not only DTI, it's involved, no? There are other also government agency. Now, the Department of Trade and Industry, we have this policy, no wrong door policy. All complaints, even if it's not within our jurisdiction, we receive it. But we endorse it to the appropriate government agency.
Okay. So you sanction them, and then you give them the information that there is a certain complaint over here, and I hope you will take care of it. Okay. So there are adjudications, right? I mean, like you set some adjudications if the person is really outraged about this kind of product, and I think you let the consumer and of course the supplier or the product or the manufacturer come to terms. I think you have to set them a date where then they can talk about it. And
we call this process mediation.
Mediation, okay.
That's a mandatory process to any dispute. No, any consumer complaints has to undergo the mediation conference prior to elevating their concern to the
law,
to the adjudication process
or court.
Before
or if they wanted to complain and file it to the court, and they can do that. But the thing is, it's the mediation actually, it gives like an amicable settlement for that, I think. And that's the best thing about it, because they can actually complain and talk about it, and maybe, have an agreement after the mediation. Okay. So that's good. That's good. I mean, I think everybody should know that the DTI is actually doing its job.
We are.
And sometimes, you just judge them, by not knowing really the reality of what they're doing. So that's one good thing. This is the reason why my show actually gives the chance to the government agencies to really sit down with me and clarify some things. Because if we don't give you the time, people will judge you. They don't know what you guys are doing. That's why this show, gives you the availability of the time and you can really explain to our televiewers what is going on. So we are an ally to the government. So that's a good thing.
We greatly appreciate that.
So, engineer, let's move forward with all other discussions now concerning about we've talked about the inflations already. And we've also talked about you abiding the law and abound the law, because you have to abound by the law and before you execute this, because you cannot impose anything that's not within the law in your jurisdiction, I think, and it's just the thing. So how are we on the basic commodities in terms of our fish, poultry, and all that? Especially these are necessities that we need. Another is the vegetables. And here in the region, we are considered, especially in Bukidnon, as the basket or the food basket of the country, because we supply. In fact, if we have if the NCR has shortage, you can actually supply because we have a vast supply of vegetables here in the region. So how are we monitoring that? Because I would say that the DTI is closely monitoring all of these products too with the Department of Agriculture. Am I correct?
Yes. Actually, the agricultural products are within the jurisdiction of the DA. No?
Okay.
But the DTI as the secretariat in the local price coordinating council, we have also that data. So we have that information. And so far, agricultural products in, again, the Oro City and Misamis Oriental, with regard to price and supply, they're stable for the past few weeks.
I would say that. I would agree because you know why? Because I go to groceries every freaking day. And I have to like go and, because I would really know. Because I'm a mom and I have kids and of course, like, when you try to monitor the price all the time, you would really be surprised if that price is not what you've expected it. So that's one thing that it's going to be very alarming if we don't really know. So you have to be very perceptive about these things. You have to listen to the news and of course be updated to what's happening in the world. And the current events is there for you. That's why the public are being informed by the media for you to be monitored. Social media is one of the platforms that people announce that, we're going to have a price increase to this. And people would know because we're trying to reach you. And so we are trying to let everybody be well informed about these things. Right. Yeah. So, engineer, I believe that there are some certainties and the ways forward that you have. Can you tell us more about your program so that people will also understand that there are some programs in DTI can actually help our entrepreneurs, like the Mentor Me. Yeah. I mean, I want to discuss that because there are so many. Some people wanted to go to entrepreneurship, but they don't know how to run a business. That's why the DTI is always there for you to give, seminars and conferences for you to really know how to run a business. Yes. Is this ongoing now? Is it physical? Is it on online? What's happening now?
We have this Mentor Me, Kapatid Mentor Me program. It's ongoing.
Which I wanted to enroll.
Yeah, you can.
Can I?
You can. Yes, you can. You just visit the office, no?
Okay.
And I think they are holding that one in person already.
Okay, that's great. And so I should probably listen and then take a class for that.
Then we also have this business learning session.
Okay. What is this?
That's a customized Kapatid Mentor Me program.
Okay.
It's a localized version, business learning system. Then, of course, they are training, providing knowledge on how to start a business. Firstly, you have to develop the mindset that to go into business, no?
Right.
Yeah. So
I mean, you have to prepare that.
Yeah,
because if you're not into business, because if you don't, I mean, everything's going to fall apart.
Yes. We also have this program on the negosyo servicio sa barangay, no?
Okay, what is that?
We provided livelihood starter kits, no?
Wow!
But for a minimum amount, no? Of,
like how much?
8,000 pesos for.
But that's not minimal.
Yeah.
Minimal is about 2,000. 8,000 is good. So how do we enter this? How do we know about this?
The DTI is going to the barangay.
Okay.
They hold seminars.
Bisaya para ma-explain.
Yeah.
Furthermore, okay, there are so many. We have so many. We have so many people out there, especially the moms, and wanted to get into entrepreneurship. Ato sa isang tabangan, engineer, so that they will know nga naa-DI type program sa DTI nga maka-offer sa ila, no? Especially with the 8,000 pesos that they can actually get starting. And then they are being taught how to run it, right?
Yeah. Inani siya no maadto ang DTI sa kabarangayan, mo collaborate, mo coordinate sa barangay, mag-hold sa session, mga entrepreneurial session, tapos naapoy sa consumer protection na session. Dayon, tanawon tong mga existing nga mga negosyanteng gagmay, no, mga kuan. Tapos tanawon iyang profile, mag-profile. Dapat siya registered sa either na siya permit sa barangay or sa syudad or sa munisipyo.
That's good.
O dayon ikuha na siya i-profile then i-evaluate. Layon, wala lang magkuan si DTI kung siyang gusto niya.
Like for example, kung ikaw, gapamaligi ang bibingka.
Pwede ka mahatagan
Okay.
ng kuan.
So, naa kay gamay nga stall. Or mamaligi ka bag isda or something like that. I-augment. That's good. I love that. See? Sometimes you just don't know what the government is offering you. There are so many chances sa inyo na part na makatake dahil mo og opportunity. Oportunidad nga makuha ninyo sa gobyerno. So, for inquiries, unsaon man nila pag-inquire kung gusto sila mangutana ana, and how do we conduct it? Unsa may scheduling ani, is this ang barangay ba mag-request or you just go to municipalities?
Sa matag munisipyo na bitaw nga kanang negosyo center.
I see.
Taga-munisipyo sa probinsya, sa Lanao, sa Misamis Oriental, na mga negosyo center. So, bunuon sa dito.
Okay, mag-ask sila.
Mag-ask sila.
Unsa man, pila man ka grupo dapat?
Bisan pila, bisan pila mga sila dito, then mag-inquire sila, unsaon na siya, no?
I mean, somebody can do it individually?
Pwede siya mag-inquire dito, ma'am. Tapos kung sa barangay man din, kung daghan sila, mo din si DTI.
I see, that's great. And then makaloan na din mo og 8,000 pesos. Is this a loan?
Dili sa loan. Grant siya.
It's a grant! Can you imagine? So, dili na ninyo bayaran.
Dili siya cash, ha? Dili siya cash.
Unsa man?
Kuan siya kanang
It's a negosyo kit.
Item din siya.
I see.
Kung sari-sari nga kuan, sari-sari mga hatag. Kung bigasan ni hatag siya.
Wow! So, pwede taani, no? Pwede taani. So, that's good, that's good. Ako, I'd like that. I like this kanibang mga programa sa gobyerno na nga maka-extend gid og tabang sa atong mga livelihood din sa komunidad.
Napadili isa kaning tawag nga programa sa pagbangon at ginhawa, kanang PPG, kanang siya focus siya sa mga biktima sa kalamidad, sa mga baha, sunog. Pero katong mga kuan na entrepreneurs, existing entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs, okay.
So,
kung nagsunog ang iyang tindahan sa karinderya, kay nasunog man, kay tungod kay ana man, na may nahitabo ang kalamidad, so they can actually go and ask DTI for that.
Pero ang kuan lang ani,
so may kinanan proof?
Mag-profile man dahil na.
So mangutana gid nga unsa nga lugar sa lapasan. Nasunugan gid kining dapita nga barangay.
Pero ato lang kuan ani, ma'am, kanang kuan basin next year, basin ang budget ba. Kay murag ang PPG basin gikuha naman kay DTI siguro to.
What do you mean?
Kanang wala na siya sa GAA ba ang PPG.
So it's transferred to a different department?
Most likely siguro ang kuan. Pero karon nga year na pa siya until the end of the year, so napa ng PPG. Then at
the end of this year, so we were not really expecting to extend it by the next year.
Yeah, kaysa GAA sa budgeting murag wala na si PPG na butang kay DTI. Only until this year, no?
Okay, so you have to take this opportunity. Kamo din nga naminaw ko ron sa atong mga studio. All you have to do is go to the nearest negosyo center and ask for any opportunities or programs. Kung galisod mo, magkuha sa inyong kaugalingon nga puhunan sa pagpagnegosyo, especially if those nga napiktahan sa mga kalamidad o sa kapagkalisod sa panahon sa ekonomiya. I mean, you can actually go or moadto ka mo sa inyong pinakaduol nga negosyo centers and ask for inquiries. Mutana jud ta, no? Kay ignorance to the law, kung wala mag-ignore bitaw ka kayo mo na ignorance to the law excuses no one, but the thing is opportunities that you don't know, you might not be able to dili nimo makuha ka, it's because uninformed ka. Sa mao nang maayo gud ta mangutana, no? And then all you have to do is, if you wanted to know more about this, I can link you with DTI. You can actually go to my page or Chyrel Macale Cariaga and then ask me some PMs there for a short message, and we could probably connect you to DTI para matabangan mo sa inyong mga ordeals. Especially that the economy now is very, very hard. So what I'm asking right now is, Engineer, what are we on the ways forward with the new mandate of the new president? Na natin mga bagong mandato karon na directives. So what are the new directives of the new president right now for DTI?
Ang usa sa mandato ni presidente sa DTI, ang among DTI secretary si Secretary Alfredo Pascual, ang ihadjong gina-emphasize kini yung on to the digital, no?
Digital age.
Digital platform ba? Ay i-exploit na siya ang atong breakthrough sa information and communication technology.
Right.
You know? So, pwede ta mag-hold mga seminar, briefing online. And then all business transaction relative to the Ease of Doing Business Act. Mahimo online transaction. So, minus ang contact. Labi na kini napaman jud si COVID-19. So, inana we will be providing a faster, easier most accessible nga business transaction engagement with our department.
Okay, that's good. So that's good. At least now that we know, we're very well informed about DTI now, and I'm very glad you
thank
came.
you.
And thank you very much for this vital information that you've been giving the public and the whole of the region and other regions as well. With Lanao, we'll be reaching that at the same time, and Bukidnon all at the same time. So I hope this has given you, a tool and a challenge for your negosyo, or you wanted to go on to business, but you're very helpless about it and you don't know what to do. DTA is always there. That's why we have to be very thankful that the government is there to back us up. So thank you very much,
Yes.
Engineer, for coming. I know that you've traveled all the way from Ligan City.
Yeah. Ay, Ma'am, pwede
Yes.
this month, October,
Yes,
is the
please.
Consumer Welfare Month, no?
Yes.
So we are celebrating the Consumer Welfare Month every October.
Okay.
So, and this year's theme is sustainable consumerism in the digital age. So we have lined up a number of activities. Actually, we kick off the celebration by holding the media briefing, and then we
And I wasn't there.
Yeah, you
Anyway,
failed to attend.
I failed to attend.
And then we have the provincial quiz ball participated by different schools, both private and private. No?
So when is this gonna happen? I mean, in Cagayan de Oro, when is this going to take off?
No, the provincial quiz ball has
already done.
No,
No, okay.
But we have the regional quiz ball. It will be held on, I think, on 26th October.
Okay.
This will be participated by winners from other provinces.
I see. Okay. So any other programs that you think you have for this month, this celebration?
Yes, we also have this Descuento Caravan in the city of Hingoog, no?
Wow.
It's rated on 24 and 25.
Okay, so that is on October 24 and 25, March. And where is this going to be held?
In Hingoog City.
Where?
City Hall.
City Hall. Okay, so at least you know, guys, where to go to on that aspect if you wanted to go and check out this Cuento Caravans. And I think these are just so many things that we should be grateful for the government, that they're extending their help to all of these people's in need in times of the economy, falling into breakage. But anyway, I really thank all of you guys for watching today, and we've got about 16 minutes before we hit tariff 10 o'clock, but I'm so sorry, but I really have to cut this off early because I have an engagement at the Limkikay Atrium today, because not only that I am a broadcast journalist, I'm also a chef by profession, and I will be having a cooking demo with San Miguel Beer Foods and of course Magnolia at the same time at 11 a.m. today. So in behalf, of course, of Jao TV Broadcasting Network, and of course with station manager Jao Gumapak, and of course this is your host, that has been Chyrel Macale Cariaga. Till next time again, to Saturday between 10, of course, 10 to make that 9 to 10 in the morning. Of course, always remember this, that do not ask for what the government can do for you, but always ask what you can do for the government. Let's help fight corruption. Have a wonderful day ahead of you.